channel. So in today's video, oh my god, my crazy baby hairs. Okay, it's fine. Anyway guys, so in today's video I decided to take you into my native language, which is Armenian. And I suddenly got this idea that I didn't show you, well, I think I didn't quite show you the poems that I've written in Armenian, and I thought it would be really interesting to kind of let you in on that too, guys, because obviously you might not understand the whole thing, you might not understand the world and the words and everything, but I think that first of all you'll see how it sounds. And it's one thing that is always interesting for me is that when you don't understand the language, but how does it feel from the side, how does it sound from the side. And at the same time I feel like, first of all, I'm going to comment on the poems that I've written, and at the same time I'm planning to include the translation below as well. I think that it's going to be line by line, but let's see, because I'm not good at video editing. I might not be able to do that, but still, hopefully I can. So let's see how it goes. Anyway, okay, and I hope you like it. I hope you're as excited as I am, because when I thought of the idea, I was like, oh, it might be such a fun thing to do, because there are people who are Armenians and are following me, but there are also people who have never heard of our language and or have never heard how it sounds and everything. So let me start with the poems that I have on my phone, and then okay, so the first one goes. Մտքերս շատ են ու տարբեր, սկսել եմ դառնալ անտարբեր, որովհետև շատ եմ ցավել, շատ եմ սիրտս բաց պահել, մտքերս հանգիստ չեն տալիս, հները գնում են, նորերը գալիս, ապրիլը գնում է, գալիս է մայիս, իսկ ես նստած եմ ու լալիս, ախր ոնց պահանջեմ, որ հասկանաս, ոնց թողնեմ ինձ մոտենաս, որ տեսնես մտքերիս գլխավոր հերոսը ու կողքի անտանելի քաոսը, արի կողքս ու նստիր, մի խոսիր ու նույնիսկ մի լսիր, թող որ հանգիստ ես խոսամ, ինքս ինձ ես հասկանամ, որ հետո էլ պահանջեմ կամ էլ պիտի նահանջեմ, չգիտեմ քեզ ինչ ասել, չգիտեմ ինչ մտածել, եթե լինեի ես նշան, կլինեի հաստատ հարցական, հարց եմ տալիս ու չեմ գտնում, կամ էլ նույնիսկ չեմ փնտրում, հեռու մնա ինձանից, մտքերի այս գազանից, թե չէ չես հասկանա դու, որ կխելագարվես ինձպես մի օր. So, okay, you might have already seen what the poem is about, like the literal translation. I'm going actually to, I am planning to do a word-for-word translation. Sometimes when translating others' poems and everything, I was usually doing I was trying to translate the rhymes, at the same time keeping the meaning, and also just the word-for-word thing as well. But I think for my own poems, I'm going to do a word-for-word translation for you guys, because I want you to literally imagine and see what I was saying. So this was kind of, I think this is a little bit of a sad poem for me, because I wrote this 4 years ago, and this is kind of a sad one because I remember writing it and I was in a sad mood, and for whatever reason, I don't remember at the moment, but I remember that I was kind of overwhelmed with all the thoughts that I was having, with all the emotions. Again, that was a moment of overthinking with me, and I was in a situation where I was like, yeah, you're thinking too much again, all the time, and I was like, okay, so let me just write down what I feel at the moment, and you might as well see that the whole the lines of the poem sometimes are connected to each other, but sometimes a whole new idea comes up and takes over another one, because I decided that I was gonna try to understand how to organize the chaos going on in my mind, and I actually really like this poem of mine because it really represents what was happening inside of me at the moment that I was writing this poem. So, and it's kind of the situation where you want to give your heart to somebody, and then at the same time you're like, you know what, leave, get away from me, because you're not going to be able to understand the chaos that is going on in my mind. And then you might become as crazy as I am at the moment, because I'm crazy, I'm weird, I'm chaotic, and you might not want to be with me. That's that. Hold on, where was the other one? Okay, this is a short one. Again, I wrote it in 2018. Գիտես, նստած եմ ես հիմա ու մտածում եմ ակամա աչքերիդ մասին ես ջինջ, ու աչքիս էլ չի գալիս ոչինչ։ Երազում եմ ես միայն հեռվում լսել ծանոթ մի ձայն, ու պտտվել տեսնել որ դու ես։ Երբեք այսպես չեմ սպասել ոչ մի հոգու ես, ու սիրտս չի կարողանում հանգստանալ, ուզում եմ անվերջ սերդ ես ստանալ, ու զգալ որ իմն ես, միայն իմը, ու ես եմ քո միակն ու անգինը, որ չես փոխի ոչ մեկի հետ, ու իմը կլինես դու հավետ։ This poem is the total opposite of the previous one. The other one was like, no, get away from me, you can't love me, you won't be able to stay with me, and everything like that. But this one is totally different. It's like, please just promise me that you're gonna love me for the rest of your days, you're gonna be mine and I'm gonna be yours, and you will never ever forget about me, you will never ever decide to, you know, leave me and everything. So this is a totally like a deeply romantic poem, and I hope that you liked it, because it's interesting that in the past, because what I was saying was I hope you liked it, because I love it too. And sometimes I feel like I'm not modest enough when I'm saying that I love my poems, but I really do, because they're always coming from my heart, and there was never ever a poem that didn't come from my heart. If I feel like something's wrong with the emotions in the poem, like I don't feel it completely, I don't ever post it, I don't keep it. And the interesting thing is that in the past, I would, in the very beginning when I just started writing, I thought that I would never write in Armenian, because I just couldn't. Sometimes I feel like in our language, there's a difference between the formal way of speaking, like the language which is used in books, in the translations of the movies, on TV, in a really formal speech. So that's the way which is considered to be like the literature Armenian, right? So, and there's this other Armenian that people speak on a day-to-day basis, and I didn't want the Armenian in my poems to be the first one or the other one, and I couldn't find that middle. And then I don't know, and then because the other one that we see on TV, that we see in the books, I feel like it's a little too artificial, but that's just my subjective personal opinion, and I didn't want to write in that way, so it was a complicated situation. And after that, there was this moment where I just started writing in Armenian. I have the poems that I have in Armenian are fewer than the ones that I have in English, but still it's better than nothing. So yeah, when I started writing, it just kind of the flow went, and it kind of became, I would say, the middle that I was looking for, the middle of the first and the between the first and the second one types of Armenians that I was talking about. And then going back to this, I have Armenian things here as well. I hope you like it. Okay, this one has a title as well, which is called Sadness. I wrote this, oh my god, I wrote this 6 years ago. Can you imagine? Going back to this, it feels like I've been writing for, a century. Տխրություն կա իմ սրտում, ինձ թախիցն է համբուրում է ու գրկում և գրկից բաց չի թողնում։ Արդյոք կա այստեղից ելք, կա արդյոք օգնության ձեռք, որ կօգնի լուր փախչել, այս ամենը չտեսնել։ Միշտ փնտրում ենք հեշտ ուղի, բայց ընկնում ենք փակ ուղի։ Իսկ այնտեղից ելք չկա, ելքը միշտ է բացակա, թողնելով տառապանքի, վշտովլի տանջանքների, անանցանելի ցավի, հոգեկան ապրումների հետ միասին, չզգուշացնելով դրա մասին, մարդ մնում է միայնակ, մարդ առաստաղ և հատակ, չկա այլևս նպատակ, չկա մտքերով լի արվակ, մի խոր անդունդ կա սրտի մեջ, որն էլ դարձավ արյունատեջ։ This is actually a very, very, very sad poem, and it was written on the day. Oh yeah. So I lost a very, very, very close person to me, a family member, and so I dedicated this poem to him, and this was kind of about him, and this was on not on the day that he passed away, but 2 years after he passed away, but on the same day, so yeah, that was dedicated to him. When I talk about like you just can't get away from that pain. And so I'm getting really, really vulnerable here, where it's like when you lose a person who's really, really close to you, and you know that no matter who comes into your life, no matter what happens, no one can fill that void, and no one can feel that emptiness, and no one can make you feel the same way that that person has made you feel, because it's different and it's a family member. So I wrote this poem again on that day because I felt overwhelmed with my emotions. I felt like I was feeling too much, and I just didn't know what to do with my emotions, and that's when I decided that I had to write about it. I had to put my thoughts on paper, because it was too much to handle, and it was too much to keep it inside. And yeah, it's a pretty dark poem, and it's ironic that maybe most of the poems that I wrote in Armenian are really, really sad, but at the same time are very close to my heart. So yeah, I hope you liked it. And I don't know, but this poem made me it kind of brought that relief to me. Well, as much as it would be possible, but because I wrote many other poems about that situation, about that pain and hurt and everything, but this poem really was like a combination of frustration, of anger, of maybe a little bit of hatred on the world and life, and pain, disappointment, all those feelings, like a little bit of everything, and that's how it was born. I have another one for you, a few actually, and I hope you're not bored yet. This one, okay, so this one is a romantic one again. I think that it's a pretty good thing. I didn't organize it this way, but I feel like it's really good that we're going into like sadness and then a romantic one, sadness and then a romantic one. Okay. And I wrote this 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago. Սիրում եմ քո աչքերը ջերմ, որ լցնում են դատարկությունս։ Սիրում եմ քո ձեռքերը մեղմ, որ գրկում են միամտությունս։ Սիրում եմ, որ քո բառերը աչքերիս արցունք են բերում, ու նույնիսկ այն ձյունով պատված, oh my god, սարերը բառերից հալվում են հեռվում։ Սիրում եմ, երբ նայում ես ինձ այնպես, ինչպես նայում եմ ես քեզ։ Նայում ես ինձ ու չես թարթում, ու աշխարհս փոխում ես մի ակնթարթում։ Նայում եմ քեզ ու աշխարհս կարծես տակնու վրա է լինում քո մի ժպիտով։ բայց չեմ ուզում մտածես, որ թույլ եմ ես ուժեղ եմ քեզ սիրելով։ Դու իմ լուսին, դու իմ արև, Աստծուց տրված ինձ մեծ պարգև, երբ քեզ հետ եմ, չեմ նայում ներքև, աչքերս սևեռում եմ միայն վերև, որ տեսնեմ աչքերդ ջինջ, շուրթերդ վար, որ շշնջալով սեր են տալիս անսպար, աստղերը բռնել են շուրջպար, որ սերը մեր լինի անմար։ Oh my God. I have forgotten about this poem and I didn't remember I was this romantic. I've always said that I'm a pretty romantic person. I'm a really, really romantic. I'm a hopeless romantic. But I actually didn't remember that I have this kind of a poem where I talk about, I think this is about just being head over heels for somebody, over somebody. So it's being deeply, passionately in love with somebody, but at the same time, I think that you can feel that I was younger in this poem. I wouldn't say that I'm not young at the moment, but still, just it's like the teenager like love that I get the vibes here, the teenager love, the romantic, beautiful feelings of first love, of everything. It's not like I'm actually directly talking about what I felt at that moment, but it's just what I feel at this moment reading the poem that I wrote in the past. And it's a pretty romantic one where you're being totally honest with that person. It just, you're like, yeah, I am absolutely in love with this person, and you're not hiding it from that person. You're just saying whatever you feel, looking into that person's eyes, or just maybe even writing a poem about that person and then just letting them read it. Because usually, I don't know about other writers, I am very shy and conscious about giving about having my poems read by the people who those poems are about, or even I usually don't show my poems to the people who know me in real life. There are some exceptions because those people are following my account, but usually I'm not, because I'm very shy about that. I'm like, no, don't read it in front of me, don't. So yeah, even if they're watching my videos in front of me, I'm like, please just don't do that. You can do that in your room, but don't do that in front of me, because I'm cringed out by that. Okay, we have 3 more poems and we'll be done for this time. Okay, again, I think this is a sad one. Լռության մեջ նստած եմ ես, կարծես նույն լռությունն է տես, բայց նույնը չէ, քանի որ ես մենակ չեմ ուզում լռել այսպես։ Ուզում եմ ես լռել մի մարդու հետ, ով իր հերթին կցանկանա լռել ինձ հետ, որովհետև այդ լռությունն էլ լուրջ չէ, ու այդ մարդու հետ լռելն էլ իզուր չէ։ Լռության մեջ այդ կային խոսքեր, հոգու խորքում պահված մտքեր, որոնք ասելու կարիք չկա, հայացքների խոսքերն էլ վկա։ Այն, ինչ ասվել է կհիշվի, իսկ ինչն էլ չի ասվել, մի օր կասվի, և այս տողերն էլ երևի, ինչպես աստղերը վերևի, կապացուցեն, կհիշեցնեն, ինչքան իմաստալից է լինել լուր, երբ աչքերում ապրում է հուր։ I love this. Guys, I'm sorry, in this video I'm not being modest at all, but I just love it because this is a real, I thought it was a sad one, but apparently it was a really romantic one. And I love this because it's like it's about being silent with the person that you love, because when you guys are in love with each other, no matter how silent you are, you still see some messages in that person's eyes, on that person's lips. You see some messages around you because you guys send each other some sparks, some emotions through your eyes, through the smiles, through just looking at that person. So This is the fact that you feel like when you are in love with somebody and that person's in love with you, you're sitting next to each other and you're being silent with each other, but that silence doesn't feel awkward. That silence doesn't feel like it's silence per se, but because you know that you're thinking about each other, even being next to each other. You're talking to each other with your eyes, with your smiles, with your gestures, through touch and everything. So yeah, I think I love this one because when you love somebody, being silent with them is not being silent at all, and I love it. Although I am never for the silence. This is weird because I wrote this and I understand why I wrote this, but I am not a silent person, and I hate sitting in silence no matter who I am with, because I feel like it's really awkward and I have to say something. But I feel like when you're totally, absolutely comfortable with somebody, it doesn't really matter. We'll see when I fall for someone. Okay. And oh yeah, so almost the last one. Մեղավոր չես դու, մեղավոր են քո աչքերը, որ խելքահան են արել ինձ գիշերները, երբ չէի կարողանում քնել, սկսում էի քո մասին ես մտածել։ Դու մեղավոր չես, մեղավոր են քո խոսքերը, որ դողացրին սրտիս լարերը, որ նվագեցին հոգումս մի երգ, որ նոր էր բոլորի ականջներին։ Մեղավոր են արարքներդ, որ չեմ կարողանում քեզ մոռանալ, ուզում եմ թողնել քեզ, հեռանալ, գնալ, բայց արարքներդ հետ են բերում ու սենյակում են նրանք ինձ փակում։ Բայց չէ, հենց դու ես մեղավոր, մեղավոր ես, որ տանջվում եմ, մեղավոր, որ տառապում եմ, որ չեմ կարող գլխիցս հանել, ինձ անվերջ կրծող մտքերը, որ չեմ կարող սրտիցս քեզ հանել, տանել ուրիշի գիրկը քեզ նետել, չնայած արդեն իսկ ուրիշի գրկում ես, արդեն իսկ ուրիշի գլխում ես, բայց մեղավոր ես, որ մեկ է դեռ ես խենթի պես սիրում եմ քեզ։ Again, a really romantic one. It's like, you are the one at fault that I'm in love with you. You're at fault because you are looking at me like that. You are smiling at me like that. You are doing this and that. And because of those actions, I am in love with you. And how could you do this to me? Like, I know that somebody else is in love with you as well. And you're already in somebody else's mind, in somebody else's heart. But how could you do that to me, knowing that I am already in love with you because of all of the things that you're doing? And you are the one at fault. So the thing is that when I started writing this poem, I was like, no, it's not, you're not at fault that I love you. It's your eyes that are mesmerizing. It's your actions that make me, turn me into a person that I can't forget. Turn me into somebody who's really in love with you and can't forget you and stuff like that and stuff like that. And then it's like, I don't know if you felt it. And I think that I wrote this. I had 2 inspirations for this, and I'm going to talk about this after that. But when you're really angry for liking somebody, it's like, no, it's your fault that I'm in love with you. You are at fault. You made me fall for you. And now you can't take responsibility for that. And one of my inspirations is, hold on. There's this Armenian poem, and I think there's this Armenian poet whose name is Vahanteryan, and there's a poem that he wrote. I love your deep. How to say that? Your deep eyes that are at fault. Not the best translation ever, but usually I think about translations, and now I just came up with this idea. And I think that a few poems like that inspired me to write that. And also I think that it was one of the series that I was watching at the time that inspired me. And yeah, it's pretty interesting because now my style has changed a lot, and I don't really have a poem like that when I'm kind of saying you're at fault that I'm in love with you and stuff. But I think I have to go back sometimes to this style because I love that angry love. And the last poem for today. Oh my god, it's already almost half an hour. Oops, sorry. Գիտես, ապշում եմ մարդկանց վրա, ովքեր սիրել չեն ցանկանում։ Նույնիսկ կարծում եմ չեն կարողանում, դրա համար էլ չեն ցանկանում։ Սիրել, սիրվել բոլորն են ուզում։ Սիրած մարդուն փարվելու մասին բոլորն են երազում։ Զգալ այդ էակի այտի ջերմությունը ափիդ մեջ, կարիքը զգալ այդ մարդու անընդմեջ բոլորն են դա ուզում։ Ուզում են սիրել, խենթի պես գժվել, ուղեղը թռցնել ու էլ հետ չբերել, ուզում են արտասվել, երբ սիրած էակը հեռանա, ու երբ այդ սերը վերանա, ուզում են պայքարել, ուզում են փորձել ու երբեմն ներել, ուզում են, բայց ոչ բոլորին է դա տրված, ոչ բոլորն են կարողանում լինել սիրուց արբած, գինով ցած սիրած էակի աչքերով ու այդ էակի մասին չկատարված երազներով. Yeah, so I remember I wrote this poem about the people. It was kind of dedicated to the people who say that they don't want to fall in love. There are so many people that are, what is love, really? I don't want to fall in love. Love is not for me. I'm not an emotional person. I hate love. There's nothing like love and stuff like that. And I don't ever believe those people because I feel like love is essential for humans. It's impossible to live without love, without loving, without being loved. And that was it. This is a poem dedicated to them. It's like, there are some people who say that I don't want to be loved, I don't want to love, but that's wrong because I think that those people who are saying that they don't want love at all, they just can't love humans. And I think that I might be wrong, please don't come at me for this statement, but I feel like there are people who are not capable of loving just because they don't want to love, they don't want to learn how to love and how to receive love. And this is for them that I'm saying that everybody wants to be loved. There's no human in this world that doesn't want to be loved. It's just that sometimes those people don't really admit that. They don't admit that they want to be loved, that they want to be appreciated and admired, and just, you know, simply want to get some attention from other people and from the people that they love. But I'm pretty sure that everybody wants love. Everybody wants to be loved and appreciated and feel the emotional state when you're in love, when somebody really, really loves you. So that was a message to them saying that you're wrong. There's nobody in this world who doesn't want love in any way. So that's about them, and I hope that you guys liked it, and I hope that you actually liked the whole video overall. I was really happy about this idea of reading poems in my native language, and obviously the people who know the language will understand and will perceive it differently, but also I would be interested to hear opinions from the people who don't really know my language, don't really speak and understand the language, so that it would be really interesting to know how it sounds from the side, because there's this thing, right? So if you know a language, it's impossible for you to look at it from the side and not go into the meanings of the words, of how it sounds. It's really different. So please comment below and let me know how it was for you, whether you've had other experiences of hearing Armenian spoken by somebody. So that would be really amazing and meaningful to me. Thank you so much for being with me. If you're still here at this part of the video, then I'm incredibly thankful for you. For still being with me and for half an hour and listening to my poems. I love you. Thank you so much. And oh yeah, so as I was reading poems in Armenian here, I'm gonna say that I love you guys in Armenian, and I'm gonna tell you thank you for being with me. And yeah, ես ձեզ շատ սիրում եմ. Մերսի նրա համար, որ դուք իմ կողքին եք ու անընդհատ կարդում եք իմ բանաստեղծությունները ու միշտ իմ կողքին եք ընդհանրապես. Իմ համար դա շատ կարևոր է. Սիրում եմ ձեզ. Bye!